wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the Blurt.
We acknowledge the First Nations peoples of this land, the traditional custodians, and pay our respects to the elders past, present, and future. We recognise the ongoing impacts of colonisation and the importance of a voice to Parliament to ensure the sovereignty and self-determination of First Nation peoples is respected and upheld. We commit to working together towards a just and equitable future for all Australians.
Good evening. I'm Keely, and tonight I'm coming to you from Wurundjeri country, Kulin Nation of the Woiwurrung people. Sovereignty was never ceded, always has been and always will be Aboriginal land. Tonight I am coming to you from the wonderful Naarm city, which is Melbourne, for anyone not orientated that way. And it's 8:11 on a Tuesday on the 25th of July, which is one day after Mick the Ambo's birthday. So happy birthday to Mick the Ambo for yesterday. I should have had a happy birthday thingo. I don't have one up. Really bad.
Yeah.
Good evening, Wency. How are you, buddy?
G'day, matey. It's yes, you're right. Wency is my name, and I'm coming to you from the traditional owners of the land on which I live and work, the Yagara and Tilbrils peoples. Yes, you threw me there a little bit.
I did, because we've been doing the show for a long time, and I don't know if you've ever forgotten your name before. So I'm, I don't know.
I'll just attribute that to my age. Just getting older. It's only going to get worse over the coming years on this show, I think. So get used to it.
It's so, look, it's so true. It is so true. But it's interesting because I was speaking to a girl today at work who just happens to be replacing me at work, which actually I need one of these. I just bear with me. I need just one of these. Here we go. Yep, need one of these.
Are you leaving your work?
I'm not leaving. No, I'm getting the ass. They're kicking me out. I'm not leaving. Which is unfortunate. I've been there for 5 years, and there you go. But anyway, less about me and more about her, because she was just saying she's only like, I don't know, she's early 30s, maybe young 30, I don't know, whatever. But she's young. And she was talking about certain little injuries that she had that she's still carrying, that she's been carrying for the last couple of months. And I said, wait till you get to my age. Every day something happens. It's like, Jesus, it's just ridiculous.
The old man grunt as you move around. I'm very well versed in that and practiced.
Just a walking bag of bones. But actually, talking about a walking bag of bones, we will do a little bit of Trump Watch tonight, or Trump Watch. We will do a little bit of Trump Watch tonight. Also, we'll talk about the Barbenheimer experience. And if you're not quite sure what that is, just hang in there and you'll find out pretty quick. We're going to talk about dog poo passport. Don't ask me, ask Wency. And the Singapore passport being a very, very good one. And on Party in the USA tonight, Wency is talking about women soccer players and the differentiation of their pay packets between them and the men. I would make the assumption that is what the conversation will be about. I'm going to be talking about cricket. Seems to be taking off in Houston, Texas. I know. I thought that as well. Odd. But weird. But the reason is because Houston, Texas is getting so much Indian migration, i.e. Pakistani Indian people that follow cricket. So they've really been pushing the cricket in there. So we'll talk about that. And the big one for the night, the finale, we will be reality checking the yes and no pamphlets because of the voice campaign. And yes, it will be meaty. And listen out for this because you'll probably hear it quite a lot because I will be doing the no campaign. And when
Don't give it away yet. Don't give it away yet.
Give it away. Okay, all right. I'll leave them in suspenders, but I'll do that.
Chicken in suspenders. That's right.
All right, not a problem. I'll do that. But before we do that, we will be back in just a second.
When you give blood, you're more than just a blood donor. You're the lifeblood of Australia. Search Give Blood and book your donation with Australian Red Cross Lifeblood today. Give life. Give blood.
The Australia Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact, whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth. We change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au.
And we're back.
Speaking of back,
Yes.
back of your hand, how's it going?
Oh, look, it's a good question. It's still strapped up with
Yep.
whoever watching.
Bit more mobility?
Yes, not bad, but I'm still, as you can tell, I'm still left-hand mousing, which is still
Okay.
quite
Challenging.
Yes, it is. That's the word we're looking for. It is challenging. Definitely
I can
challenging.
imagine.
It's weird because, like, I'm so right hand dominant, and it's like you'd be doing something, and before you know it, the mouse is on the floor. You're just like, yeah, well, that didn't work. That didn't work to plan. That wasn't exactly what I was planning. So, but anyway, but look, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Good.
Yeah, I'll get the stitches out on Friday.
Excellent.
Yes, so
Which
only a
will
couple
free
of
up your
those.
hand a little bit.
Yes, probably.
Considerably.
Yeah, probably. But I've mainly got the wrapping on now, just so that I remember that there's a problem, and I just sort of keep away from it because it's really easy to sort of touch
Bump
it.
it. Yeah, I can
and
imagine.
that part hurts a little bit, but
Yeah.
But anyway, now getting back to what we're talking about in banter,
Mhm.
or actually, no, before we go to banter, I noticed we've got does X mark the spot? Well, my
Correct.
question to you is, Wensai, does it mark the spot, and what spot is it marking?
It definitely seems to be a target, that's for sure. Our good old mate Elon Musk has over the weekend decided to get rid of the bird. And I'm
Oh,
not
really?
talking about I'm not talking about the middle finger. I'm
No,
talking about
well,
the
I
the
will
logo.
I will never have the bird got ridden of when it comes to Musk. It will be
I
a
know it's
permanent feature, believe me.
exactly right. But he has decided to get rid of the bird logo and replace it with an X. How boring.
What the fuck?
Exactly.
Okay,
I
so
don't know what his
all right,
reasoning
so
is, but it's just a nut job, as we all know.
he is an absolute nutbag. So my question to you is, if you're not okay, so if it's not called Twitter, right?
Mm.
So you're
Well,
not
it's still called
tweeting.
Twitter. It's
Is
still
it?
called Twitter, but he's rebranding it. Well, actually, yeah. Is
Why
it
would you
really
call it Twitter with an
X?
X?
Yeah.
That's
I've
ridiculous.
makes no sense, does it? Because you
No.
got to remember last year when he took over, he said the bird is freed when he took over Twitter. So I don't know if this is what he meant.
He's
That
getting a lot
it
of
was
birds
going to
from
get
me.
rid of. Yeah. So
That's-
it'll be interesting
yeah.
to see how this works. So does that mean we're X's or exiting?
Well,
we're
you and I are. We're Gen Xers. So
Yes. Or are we exiting
yes.
Twitter
Well, I
and
am.
going over
I
to
am
Sproutable?
this Friday. But yet no. That I mean, we're on Threads, Spoutable, Twitter, which I'm sort of lessening a bit now because I have noticed a few nut jobs coming through. I've seen a few. I've sort of opened a few tweets and I can see a little bit of cooking going on, and I'm like, no, I don't need to be looking at that recipe this time of the morning. Thanks very much. So, but anyway, when we talk about cooking, Pace, seems like the bird is dead. Yeah, maybe Vicky, that could be true. Yeah. Vicky's just saying X makes it seem like the bird is dead. Yeah, and I like the bird. I don't particularly want it to be.
It's iconic. It's what Twitter was, and It's got the history. It's been around for over 10 years.
Well, apparently there was a piece of software, a platform that you could use with Twitter called TweetDeck.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember that in the old days, and that's actually where tweets came from.
Right.
So it didn't come from Twitter as such. It came from TweetDeck, because then they'd say that they'd send a tweet because it was coming from TweetDeck.
Right.
So, yeah. And then I don't know what happened to TweetDeck, but it was sort of like this platform that was sort of, it could sort of be rolled up into something, and you could use Twitter inside it, sort of thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But anyway, got no idea what's going to happen there either. I've got as about much idea what's going to happen with Musk as I do with what you do with a dog poo passport. So could you please just enlighten us on this one?
Okay.
Very, very interested.
This came across my eyeballs just a few days ago, and I thought, what the hell is this all about? But in a little town called Breviers, I think is the town in France. No, Béziers, Beziers.
Had to come from France. Had to come from France.
So the local mayor there, Robert Menard, is a little bit shitty about dog shit being left behind in the public place. So he has come up with the ingenious idea of enforcing, and it's a trial that's starting this month and goes for 2 years, where he wants to enforce all dog owners to go get a DNA or genetic test of their dog, so with a saliva swab, and then the owners will get a dog passport with that genetic composition for their dog to identify the dog. And if the dog shits anywhere in public and is left behind, the
left behind,
cleaners,
I like it. Very nice, very good.
People who clean up the mess from council will have the right to take the dog sample, get it tested, and then go to the owner and fine them. $63 the fine, and there'll be a $202 cleaning fee on top of that.
You know what they should do? They should do all of that, and then they should pick that dog turd up, put it in a bag, set it alight, and put it on their front porch. That's what they should do. And then and fine them at the same time. That'd really, But I love that. Oh, the French are awesome.
Yeah,
and
I think it's got merit.
Oh, it's brilliant. We should be doing it here.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's absolutely fantastic. But the thing I was going to say, though, it's interesting because I remember years ago when we were in Paris and we were walking around one particular area and we were playing Dodge the Dog Turd, and it was just every second word was just turtle it, turtle it, turtle it, turtle it, turtle it, turtle it. Especially when you got a small kid, because they just sort of walk in one line. They don't sort of dodge stuff.
Oblivious to all of that.
Yes. So we sort of had to say, look, if you walk in one of them, you're not getting lunch. So think about it. Think about it. So,
she learned quickly, I bet.
She did indeed. But, they really suffer badly from it there. They definitely did 20 years ago. So I don't know if they still do. But the thing is, see, dogs in France, that's why my mum loved France so much. They've always let them in their stores and in their cafes and all that stuff. They've done that for a long time. So
you see that in Vietnam,
not the stray ones. Not the stray ones. They don't just say, come in here. No, not that. But no. But yeah. So that's fantastic. Well, I reckon it's awesome.
That was a funny story.
Yeah, it's a very, very good one. And then you've got another one on passports as well. What's the other one?
Yeah, so recently there's an annual survey of countries' power in terms of where their passports go, how far you can go. It's called the Henley Passport Index, and it measures each passport's ability to travel internationally without a visa. And Australia has gone up from 8th position to 6th. There's a whole bunch of countries ahead of us, and there's lots of countries that are equal footing. But yes, so we've gone up from 8th to 6th. Singapore has taken the lead over from Japan. So Singapore ranked 1 in the world with visa-free access to 192 countries. So basically means you can hop on a plane, land somewhere, and you don't need a
192.
visa. Correct. That's quite a lot.
That is unbelievable. That is
Japan.
phenomenal. Do you know how many?
Japan.
Yeah. Do you know how many? Do you know how many Australia at all?
Yes. Australia can get you to 186 countries visa-free.
Okay.
So we're behind the Kiwis in New Zealand. They're ranked 5th. They're 187 countries where they can travel visa-free.
One more. Wow.
Yeah, so visa-free travel, basically, as it states, like I said before, just turn up to a country and you don't need the visa, and they'll just stamp it on arrival. There's others that also, countries that interest me, for example, Vietnam, I still need to get a visa, same as Chile, traveling on an Australian passport. So you need to get that ahead of time. So yeah. So I thought that's quite interesting to see where we were. And 6th is the highest we've ever been. And that was this year, 2015, 2013, and 2012. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. Who came second? Second was Germany, Italy, Spain, and Austria with 189 visa-free access countries. And then a whole bunch of others in third with 189, which includes Japan. Oh, we've lost Keely. Huh. Here I am reading off topic or off screen, and I didn't notice you'd left. Hope he's okay. Ah, he's back. He's back. Didn't even realize. We'll just wait a few more moments. And he's back.
Yes, that was extremely unprofessional of me. Sorry. I was so parched.
That's all right.
It wasn't funny.
No, that's okay, because I was off, wasn't looking at your screen or our screen where we see each other, and I turned back and realized you disappeared. I was going, where's he gone?
It's all good. It's all good. But
all good,
we're just going to do, absolutely. Just going to do a tiny bit of this. That'll be the left hand.
11,780 votes to win the election. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes.
Losers only. It's Trump Watch. China.
It is Trump Watch, and I did just want to say that the former president, aka Orange Head, faces 19 legal actions, about half of which allege improper conduct during his presidency.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's all.
You'd think there'd be heaps more, but anyway, go on, carry on.
Most of the cases fall under 3 themes: financial wrongdoings that made him more money, his role in the January 6, 2021 insurrection, and his alleged interference in 2020 election. In New York, Trump faces 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. This is the good one, though. This is the kicker. In Florida, the Justice Department brought 37 counts against him for his handling of classified documents after leaving the White House, making him the first president to be a complete and utter fuckwit, to face federal criminal charges. Honestly, you talked about dog shit before, and it was very apt because he's definitely as dumb as that. There's no doubt about it.
He's the biggest turd of them all.
Yes, he is. Absolutely. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. And apparently that case for 37 counts against him is going to now go ahead in May 2024.
Awesome.
It was just confirmed the other day by Judge Eileen Cannon, who was a Trump appointed judge when he was there.
Oh, wow. There you go.
So, yeah, so that doesn't seem like a conflict of interest at all, does it?
Are these charges being brought on by, what's his name, Ron DeSantis? Because he's Florida. Is that his way of trying to push Trump out of the presidential race?
You mean the 37 counts?
Yeah, in Florida.
No, the 37 accounts by Jack Smith. Jack Smith, who is the prosecuting, I think he's a prosecuting attorney, or he probably might have another title. Vicky might know who she's about. And he is basically the chief investigator against Trump in the, as I say, the 37 counts. The interesting thing is that now he's getting indicted. Oh, yeah, and we haven't even talked about he'll have another case against Jean Carroll because she's going to charge him again because he said after she won her case that it was a hoax and it was all full of crap. So she went, okay, I'm going to sue you again, you bastard. And
good on her.
Yeah, absolutely. And the federal judge, because he was trying to appeal or something and just threw it out and went, nah, she can sue your ass, not a problem.
Yeah.
So so there you go. So that's a tiny bit of Trump watch for you this week. Did you have anything else in? Oh, I do actually. I do have something else in banter. Do you have anything else in banter?
No, because you had a couple of things to talk about.
Oh,
Trump Watch is one of them.
Yes, absolutely. And I
something about the weekend, I believe.
Yes. I need to crack on. So so what happened last weekend is they had an opening called basically they've sort of dubbed it called Barbenheimer. And it was all about Barbie and Oppenheimer opening the same weekend. And this has been an absolute whirlwind for cash for Hollywood. They've absolutely loved this. So the two big films, special counsel. Yep, nice work. So Jack Smith is the special counsel that is, indicting Trump on those 37 counts. Yeah. Because it's on a charge of espionage, so it's pretty serious stuff.
That's pretty serious,
Yeah, it is pretty
Anyway,
serious.
so back to Barbenheimer.
Yes, back to Barbenheimer. So Greta Gerwig, she's an American director, screenwriter, actress, etc., etc. She's probably on strike at the moment. She has directed.
No, she wouldn't be because she's a director. So she's and the Directors Guild have come to an agreement. So she's probably still working.
But she's a screenwriter and actor, so she could be striking on that side.
True. Yeah, true.
I don't know if she's that.
Anyway,
but she's been behind some excellent films. Little Women in 2019, which is a great film. Lady Birds 2017, another good film. And Christopher Nolan, who's behind Oppenheimer. Well, if you don't know Christopher Nolan, you probably don't go to the movies very often because one of the absolute crackers that I always remember that had Guy Pearce that I absolutely adore was Memento in 2000.
Oh, was he behind that one? Literally.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan. Yeah, he was. He was indeed. And obviously, but Batman Begins 2005, The Dark Knight 2008, etc., etc. So, and Dunkirk in 2017. So he's a little bit of a heavy hitter. So now Oppenheimer for 2023, which is a story of the scientists that basically discovered the nuclear bomb.
Yeah, pretty much.
The first one
designed it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to go too far. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't want to go too much into that actually, because what we might do is when we do a what's on the box in a few weeks' time or something, by the time I've seen it, then I could review it.
So that begs the question: have you seen the other one?
What's the other one?
Barbie.
Oh, Barbie. No, I haven't,
Okay.
and I have wanted to see it, but I'm not
in
going to
that
see the
case,
movies.
I will review Barbie, and you can review
Nice.
Oppenheimer when we do that segment in a couple of weeks'
Excellent.
time, I guess.
I know who's going to have more fun. Barbie movie. Oh, okay, all right. Okay, it was interesting because my daughter saw it. She gave it a solid 2.5 Blurtstars.
Really? Well, Vicky says
yes,
Barbie
and
movie is bloody awesome. Solid recommend.
she has said that. I have a feeling, a little bit of an inkling. That's a Lona and Woodley joke, but anyway. So I've got a bit of a feeling that that there was a lot of irony and a lot of like second level sort of humor in Barbie.
Yeah.
I just feel that there's some sort of black bits. I've seen the trailer, and when I first saw it, I was like, "What the hell is this?" And then I kept watching, kept watching. And I've listened to Greta Gerwig, and I've listened to Margot Robbie in interview, and it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. So you'll have fun. I mean, I will see it definitely, but I'll probably see it on Netflix or whatever. Whereas Oppenheimer, I would love to see the movies.
Yeah.
Just get blown out of the seat. It goes for
We're planning on
3
watching it later this
hours.
week. Yes. Yeah, that is a long movie, isn't it? Your one, the Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one. Yeah, I'll probably either see it in New Zealand, or I'll see it by myself when Nest goes overseas in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
But digressing from that, as we always do, I thought I might just go through a couple of the ticket sales really quickly. He says quickly.
Yep.
Anyway, so the estimated ticket sales for last Friday through to Sunday, as of July the 24th, was No Hard Feelings was 1.1 million. That's this is the top 10 going from 10 to 1.
Okay.
And it just shows you the difference in films and quality. No Hard Feelings is a Jennifer Lawrence vehicle, I believe, and Indy saw that too, and she wasn't particularly, she wasn't particularly enamored on that one either. Transformers 1.1, whatever. Spider-Man, who cares? 2.8 million. Just getting sick of it. Elemental 5.8 million. I don't know what that is.
Wow. It's an animated movie.
That's pretty good then.
Yeah.
Considering it beat the other 4. Insidious, The Red Door, 6.5 million. I don't know what that is. I'll have to do some blah blah on that. The new Indiana Jones, which I will have to see because I've seen all the others, and the Dial of Destiny is only got 6.7 million.
Only. That's we're talking Australian numbers here, aren't we? Because
no, these are American numbers.
American. Shit. Okay.
Yeah, and these are dollars. These are dollars, and these are shit. The ones I've given you so far are rubbish. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, 19.5.
Wow. Which I saw on the weekend is awesome. Loved it.
I know it will be because the motorcycle stunt that he does, I've seen all the. Did you see the background video on that?
Yes, I saw that last year, I think, or early this year, and I just so looking forward to the movie.
I know. I want to see that.
We'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah, so definitely. Absolutely. No, I definitely want to see that one as well. Sound of Freedom. I don't know about that one. I need to probably look at it. 20.1 million. And where's my I should have one. I'm sure I do have one somewhere. Do I have a dun I have a dun I need. I think it's this one. Let's see if it's Oppenheimer, 80.5 million.
Wow.
So that is, really huge compared to what I've.
What number was that?
And one Barbie. Sorry, what? 2.
2. Okay. Yep.
Because Barbie takes out number 1 with 155 million.
Wow.
So nearly double Oppenheimer.
Double, yeah.
And Oppenheimer has quadrupled the one before that. So it just shows you.
Amazing.
Barbie
and the people who dressed up for the Barbie movie, I think, were having a lot of fun.
Yes. Yeah. Well, India did. She totally dressed up.
Yeah, excellent.
And where she went, they did pink popcorn.
Yeah, cool. Yep, not surprised. I think
so it was-
Grilled, we're doing Barbie themed burgers as well.
Burgers?
Pink buns was one of them. Because at our local cinema, there's a Grilled right next to the cinema, so they were doing something like that. So yeah, everyone was
nice.
in on the fun.
Oh, that's good. That sounds awesome. And we will definitely take you up on that, Vicky. We'll definitely have to check that out for sure. As I say, I think it will be fun. I love Ryan Gosling and I like Margot Robbie, so and I like what Greta Gerwig writes. So I'll see when I get there. Oh yes. Well, it would have been amazing because your hair. See, people can't see your hair, but I don't know if your hair is still pink and red, but it is in your photo. And I'm sure that would look amazing with pink stuff. So yeah, you would look awesome, no doubt about it. So,
and for those listening, Vicky has just said, I dressed up. I was at a cinema sea of pink. Oh, it was a cinema sea of pink.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but just the other day, Biden and Obama, they had a meme. I think because so much AI now, it's hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure it was real. They both had a dark pink suit and a light pink suit on.
Oh wow, cool! Didn't say
it looked it looked really good too. Looked really, really good. Now look, we need to pay for a couple of things on this show, so I just need to play this, and then we'll be back with Party in the USA.
God, nothing hurts my soul more than getting a bunch of money from paid sponsorship. Cash for comment. I love it. Speaking of cash, have you tried the new Cash app? Send and receive money from anyone instantly with the Cash app. Oh, God. Say you want to get $10,000 from Valvoline just for mentioning the word Valvoline. Just give them your Cash app username and they can send it to you immediately. No questions asked. Download the Cash app today. Valvoline.
From our brilliant friend Dan Illich, who has been on the show quite a few times. Actually, just talking about it, I know we've sort of look, I know we're a long way behind tonight, but we will get there. We have a couple of great guests coming back in the next month or so. I just want to make mention of that. If you're an Angela Voipierre fan, which I am, she is very happy to come back on, and she'll be talking AI with us. She's been doing a lot of AI investigations with background briefing lately, so that will be a fantastic conversation. And a friend of the show and always great on Econ Babble is Dr. Maria Taflaga. So she will be back very soon as well. So it's all coming up. Yeah, it's all coming up the new Blurt at the moment, which is really, really good. Now, because I've been rabbiting on for a while, how about I'll get this going and then you can go first, my friend.
Awesome.
So just let me get this sorted. 2 seconds. As I say,
left hand,
it's left
please
hand,
work.
And left hand is left hand is being nasty. Right, here we go.
5
talk amongst
years later.
Alrighty, what you
That
got?
was a short one. Is it normally that short?
Yeah.
The sting? Yeah. Okay.
You got to stop asking questions, seriously.
Yes. Okay. All right. Party in the USA. This has been an ongoing issue for decades, centuries, or in fact, all of humanity. The topic of equal pay. World Cup fever is amongst us. Women's World Cup is currently being played in Australia and New Zealand. But FIFA, who are the organisers of both men and the women's World Cup Championship tournaments, increased the prize money for this year's World Cup. They promised to do something last year, and about a month ago, just over a month ago, they finally splashed out the money and said, we will put in $110 million as prize money. which is up from 30 million at the last World Cup, which was in 2019. So that's a huge increase. Still falls far short of what the men get, which is 440 million in Qatar last year. So the women are still
Wency?
underpaid.
Wency,
Yes.
so how many million did you say with the women? What was that?
110 million in the prize kitty.
Dollars.
Right. Okay.
Exactly. And the men, 440 million.
$1 million.
Correct.
No, probably a
That's
little bit more.
right.
Probably a little bit
Yes.
more. Yeah.
A little
So
bit more
four
than that.
times as much.
Four
Four
times as much.
yeah.
So it's slowly getting parity. Not fast enough, obviously.
I was going to say, yeah, no, true, but that's I mean, as terrible as that sounds, which means they've got a quarter of the men. That's actually a lot better than what they've had in the past because it's just been disgraceful. So,
Exactly.
I mean, it's still obviously not a parity, but it's obviously going in the right direction slightly.
Yeah, exactly. So ahead of this year's Cup, FIFA changed the distribution model of how the prize money gets distributed. So in the past, it used to go directly to the soccer federation for each country that's participating. But this year, they've promised to give money directly to players, as well as the federations for each country. But in the US, the women US players aren't and don't follow the FIFA agreement. They came up with their own enterprise bargaining agreement in Australian terms. So what they were able to negotiate was equal pay with the men.
You are kidding me.
No. So,
wow.
After the 2019 World Cup, the women team in the USA took the US Soccer Federation to court and sued them for discrimination. And 3 years prior to that, and they won. And 3 years prior to that, so in 2016, they also filed a complaint with the US Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and won. And so as a result of all of those things, the US Soccer Federation and the women's team have come up with a better process of divvying up the money. So basically, the pool of money that FIFA gives the US Soccer Federation goes into a bucket. 10% of that bucket goes to the US Soccer Federation. The rest is 50-50 to men and women who play in the teams. So I'm just going to give you a bit of a show and tell, just a single image.
Yeah.
So as we wait for this to turn up,
so
here it's up. So on the left-hand side, the US female players will get, just by being at the games, $298,400 just per player. Whereas FIFA, which is the diagram or the section on the right-hand side, they get $30,000 for reaching the group stage.
So is that what our Australian players would be getting?
I'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
That's right. No, good question. And as you progress further into the championship, you earn more, obviously. So if you come second place, the US ladies will get $401,000. Whereas if each player.
Wow.
Whereas the non-US players will get $195,000. Still pretty good money, good coin there.
It's nothing to be sneezed at, but it's incredible. The quarter final is incredible compared to what you get if you're another player, if you're not a US.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, which is great, because in the past, what would happen was the country's soccer federation will get all that money and would rarely distribute that money equally to the players. So there's been an agreement that should be happening now. Some players are a little bit skeptical. Chaina Matthews, forward player from Jamaica. She said, we ultimately don't know how we'll be paid or whether it even has to be this year. There are ways this could really be manipulated. It is nice to see the guaranteed player payments, but also you hold your breath a little bit. So that's a quote from Chaina Matthews. So
That's terrible, isn't it?
yeah, so some countries, obviously the poorer, I wouldn't say the poorer, but the less successful countries.
You can say the poorer. Unfortunately, it is.
Well,
what it is.
I don't know if rich countries like Australia are in the same boat as much. But yeah, so countries that maybe soccer isn't predominantly like this big spectacle sport may not get as much of this money. So the idea is that it should be going to the players. So hopefully they do get it. But the US women have got that in writing in their contracts that they will get this money that you see on the left of this diagram.
And we know what lawyers are like in America. So yeah, good luck getting out of that contract.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Can you just pop them up again, please, Wency?
Sure. It's coming back up.
Just for people playing at home, what we're looking at is it's basically just two tables, one showing which players will get which money. And in this case, we're looking at the US players versus anyone else. And anyone else who's the champion will get 270 grand per player. But if you're in the US and you've got the agreement that Wency was talking about, if you're a champion, you'll get 460,000.
Nearly double.
Yeah, nearly double. So it's pretty amazing. As usual, you'll be able to maybe get this in the show notes.
Yes. Yeah, it's in a news article. So that diagram is in a news article, so you'll see it. The other interesting fact about all of this is the global women's salary for a woman's female soccer player is only $14,000. So all these numbers are all US dollars.
Pretty terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty shit. So even just to get to the tournament, you're already doubling your salary if you get this far. So that's $30,000. For those countries or players.
I think we've talked about this before on the show, but people like Sam Kerr, the Australian player that's apparently meant to be basically the best player in the world, I think she's on about £600,000 a year, I think.
Okay, yeah.
And I mean, which sounds good, and admittedly it is. But when we've talked about this before, when you talk about parity of men, and the best player like Ronaldo or whatever is on 30 million a year, and they're on 600,000 a week, and just ridiculous stuff. So
yeah. And you asked about the Australian players.
Yes.
I wasn't able to get exact figures, but it looks like for Australian players, they're getting upwards of around about $100,000. Now, I don't know if that's just for this tournament or whether that's their annual salary as an average. So
can you see? There's no actual chart to say what they get a fourth place or third place or anything like that.
No, I couldn't find it. Couldn't find that information. I tried.
No, that's cool.
It must be very
hard to get.
Hard to get. But they are getting decent salary, which is good. Like you mentioned, Sam Kerr's getting quite a bit. Nowhere near as much as men's. What I couldn't work out was whether. Actually, no. Yeah, don't worry. I was about to say the numbers we're seeing on the screen now is just what they earn in the World Cup. So that's not inclusive of what they normally earn.
Yeah,
so
that's what I
could
thought.
Be heaps. Yeah, it could be heaps more. Obviously, like Sam Kerr gets 600,000 a year. Just
pounds,
which is about. Oh, it used to be about $10 million here, but now it's only about $1.
Yes. I think it's. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is about 1 million. I think that's about right. About 4 million New Zealand, I think. But no, that's not true. That's not true. But look, that is magnificent. Did you have anything else on that, Wency?
No, that's it for that one for me.
Lovely. Excellent. Well, we will be back in a second on the new Blurt.
Hey, this is Hannah Melville-Ray from the Australia Institute. I'm listening to the new Blurt with Wency and the Kegster, and you should be too. It's on Tuesday nights, live from around 8 p.m.
As we always say, 8 p.m.-ish. And yes, that is the Australian Institute. And if you are so inclined, you can go to the Australian Institute on their YouTube channel or on their podcast, which is Show Me the... Is it Show Me the Money? Is that the one? Is it
That is one of their podcasts.
I'll follow the,
I think.
Follow the money.
Follow the money. Yeah.
Show Me the Money's Cuba Gooding Jr. What am I doing? Anyway, yes. So follow the money. Show me the money. Follow the money is a brilliant podcast by the Oz Institute and talking about their brilliant podcasts and webinars, etc. They have a great one coming up, I think, on the 14th of August with Bridget Archer, who is the MP in Tasmania and just happens to be on the Liberal side of politics.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
She sounds like an absolute cracker. So, yeah, so I totally agree with Wensai. Get yourself out there and register. There's usually, I would imagine there'd probably be about 1,000, probably approximately 1,000 people on that particular webinar because people will be interested to listen to Bridget Archer, I would have thought. Okay, now, I don't want to rabbit on anymore, but just before I do, I need to do this.
Yes.
You missed about.
How's that?
Yes, how's that? So, magnificent song from 1976 by Sherbet. But why did we play that? We played that because the rise of cricket in Houston, Texas is a little bit nuts. And the popularity in Houston is really surprising. And one of the biggest reasons is because of the South Asian immigrants who obviously love the game of cricket. And there's many that are settling in Houston. And they're contributing to the growth of cricket in the city. And they're getting really big sponsors now for the league, et cetera, et cetera. The Major League Cricket, of course, it's called Major League Cricket. Major League Cricket, the first American professional cricket league. That just sounds weird when you say it, you know. First American professional cricket league launches its inaugural season in Texas, in Houston, in Dallas. So the Prairie View Cricket Complex, built by Tanweer Ahmed, so they had to obviously build a purpose-built cricket pitch because obviously they wouldn't have one.
They wouldn't exist.
Absolutely not. So it's the location attracts players, fans due to its proximity to a major highway, offering visibility to passing motorists. And the complex success surpasses expectations. Cricket's popularity continues to soar, which it's amazing. I'm actually talking about America and cricket in the same breath here. It's just,
and Texas,
but I suppose in a way it's not. I mean, well, yeah, absolutely. So this is quite interesting. The local investors, including Ross Perot Jr. Now, have you ever heard of Ross Perot? I think he was actually going for president a few years ago in the US for the GOP.
Or is this the son of Ross Perot?
Yes, that's the son. That's the son of.
Yeah, the son of.
Yeah, because the other guy would be pretty bloody old. So
yeah.
Because he was old then, so he's got to be old now. But and yeah, apparently they're just embracing it, and the Sports International following's got a large fan base in Texas. I'll show you the picture of the uniform in a minute. I'll see if I can put it up there for you. But the Major League Cricket conducts its player draft at Johnson Space Center. So, yeah, garnering attention and excitement, which is interesting in itself that they went to Johnson Space Center to do the draft.
Wow.
And now, this is where it gets nuts. Players from around the world, including Harmeet Singh from Mumbai, are selected by the league's inaugural teams. So this is becoming a real thing. So the event marks a milestone for the sport's growth in the United States. And now they're saying that the capital of cricket is the USA. Of course they are. Of course they
Yeah,
are.
of course. It'll be the World Series cricket. Oh, hang on. We've already got that. So what are they going to call it?
I don't know. It's just called the US World Series cricket.
Yeah, they'll just take over the world with whatever they want to call it.
Basically.
What I was going to say something about that. Yes, I think give it a couple more years. It'll be so popular in the US that cricketers will go there to retire, earning big coin, because that's where they go to train the young kids or whatever.
Like they do
players.
with the soccer.
Yeah,
what's his name did?
Messi, who recently went there.
Oh no, I wasn't thinking him. I was thinking about the David Beckham.
Oh yeah, he did that a few years ago.
Played for the LA someone.
The
LA someone. I don't know.
yeah, LA
I'm
something.
not. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not a soccer man, but I'm just going to show you a couple of things because this is in Houston, Texas. This is in America. It's weird because you see the picture and then you just go, really? It's not in India? No, it's not. This is actually in Texas. So just going to bring this up. There you go.
Nice.
So they are all the fans in and that's Harmit. There he is, Harmit Singh right there.
Is that the one with the trophy?
And this is when they're doing yes, it was. And this is when they're doing their draft at the Johnson Center. So at the space.
That's cool.
I mean, it's just nuts, the Johnson Space Center, Houston. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's funny.
So they're not mucking about. There's no doubt about it. They got the cricket net.
Love it.
They're just
good to see cricket getting a bigger audience.
As you say, it's going to be like soccer. Well, what I think it's really good. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really good that so many of the migrants of the US are bringing their own
spin
sport,
to
if you
the
like. Yeah,
the sport.
Yeah, their own spin.
Come on, you don't get it?
There. Yes, nice. Yes, I do get it. I do get it, but I've got a left hand and I'm a long way away. So I totally got it. I totally understand where you went, and it was very good. And
I think there's also a little bit of a lag, so I can't quite tell if you got it. But you did, so that's the important part.
Yeah. See, that was the lag there.
Yes, there's the lag. Come on, left hand. Move.
Yes, exactly right. So anyway, that's so that's a lot on cricket in America, which I just thought was a little bit fascinating. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So Houston, we have a batsman. Oh, very nice.
Love it.
That's very, very good. Very, very good. Something else that's very good is this.
Can I have a reality check, please? I'm trying to keep my sanity in check, please.
So that's our reality check segment for tonight. Wensai, you can do the honors on this one as well.
Yeah, I'll be doing the yes, and it's going to be very short because there's not many things to reality check the yes campaign, because a lot of it is pretty factual. Just to remind everyone, and I will put the links in the show notes, but the proposed law that they're going to let us, that's part of the referendum, is to alter the constitution to recognise the First Peoples of Australia by establishing an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice. So in the yes pamphlet, tick, exactly. Let's hope everyone ticks. No, is it a tick or is it a yes? It's a yes. We've got to write the word yes or no.
It's
correct.
It's a yes.
So,
it's a yes.
It's a yes. Don't put no, put a yes. We highly recommend
Yes.
a yes.
Yes, yes, we do.
Yes. Yes. So in the yes pamphlet, they outline. I don't know if you ever saw Little Britain, but yes.
Yes, I did.
In the yes pamphlet, they've outlined the reasons why voting yes is good. It's about recognition, listening, and getting better results. Just some of the things, and it's each side had to submit a 2,000-word essay outlining why people should vote yes or no, and that is now the official stance for each side. Some of the things that the Yes campaign have highlighted, and these were fact checked also by the Guardian newspaper. Part of the getting better results that the Yes campaign have said is making practical progress in Indigenous health, education, employment, and housing, so people have a better life. So in the Closing the Gap report, the data from there, that the latest data from the Productivity Commission shows few of the Closing the Gap report targets have been met, and especially in things like incarceration and child removals, the gap has gotten worse, not better. So by the fact, if we get this through, the Yes campaign or the Yes vote should bring practical progress to that. So hopefully closing the gap in where it actually will stick. Another thing that they talk about is that vote yes to an idea that comes directly from Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people themselves. Two different polls have been shown that 80 to 83% of Indigenous Australians actually support it. There's still a lot.
I was about to say that, and Jacinta Price and Spud just bang on about how there's many Indigenous are against the voice, and it's just total shit. It's total rubbish. It's total.
So it'll be good to see how thorough and how many people they reached for that polling. Those two polls of 83%. I know, and I can only imagine people in the remote communities, they wouldn't have access to mobile phones, computers to know it. So there's still, I think, needs to be a lot of messages need to be sent out to those remote communities. So hopefully that gets done by all.
Well, they absolutely need to get messengers out there that are, representing the voice, the yes side factually. They don't need to embellish it in any way, shape, or form. Just represent it as it is.
As it is, yeah.
If you've read the Uluru Statement, which was from the First Nations people, the gift to us, I mean, it's just a no-brainer. But anyway.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Another thing that the Yes campaign have included in the pamphlet or the essay is it will include Indigenous Australians from every state and territory, the Torres Strait Islands, and representatives from the regions and remote communities. This is one of the few that I would say doesn't have any fact against it, because the government hasn't shared a draft of the voice model, and they say that the concrete details about how many people sit on it, who selects it, and how they interact with Parliament will get will be fleshed out after the referendum. So we can't say for sure exactly how it's going to look and feel.
But the reason for that is because the enshrined voice to Parliament and is an enshrined voice to Parliament, but the actual referendum is a question to whether you believe they should have the right to design a process for the voice. So obviously there's not going to be any detail, because how can you detail something that hasn't even been passed?
Exactly.
It's pretty ridiculous. And not only that, if you give detail now, what happens when you change it in the future? And you probably will change details because things change, things move on. You know, that's why we need to get this done because you know, it's been far too long, far too long.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's right. So there's 8 reasons why the yes vote they want change or want this to get passed. The 8 items are the idea came directly from Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, as you mentioned. Uluru Statement from the Heart. It's all there. The second point is constitutional recognition for concrete results. If we get this through, everything we've done so far has failed. This is a positive step in the right direction. The other point, ensure people have a better life, again, by having better policies and informing the government how things could be done better. We'll get better outcomes for Indigenous life. It should bring the country together by uniting everyone to get this over the line. It should save money by having better outcomes. A lot of the money in the past has been spent on non-Indigenous organisations, which is pretty shit, in my opinion.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. And 3 other points that they say: the time is now, because if not now, when? The second last point is practical advice that works. Again, if they work together with the sitting government, we'll get better outcomes. And making government work better. So they're the 8 points that they are getting us to see with this referendum and pass it. Fingers crossed. Let's do it, people.
Nice. Yeah, no, look, absolutely agree. And with all that positivity from Wensai there, I'm going to bring us back to the No campaign reality. And I'm going to have a little... I know. I'm going to have a little 3-year-old help me with that. So just bear with me and we will get there. I just have a little bit of problem with the left hand. But, so the No campaign, it's interesting read, to say the least.
Can you imagine?
It only just starts. Like, it only just gets into the pamphlet. And it's already been flagged that this voice specifically covers all areas of executive government. This means no issue is beyond its reach. And as my 3-year-old friend would say...
A bullshit.
Yes.
Very
that
well
little
said.
kid got it
Very
right.
Well said.
Well done.
He has. Very well said. The voice would have no right of veto and would not be binding on the Parliament, according to the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. He's only said it 400 times. The High Court would ultimately determine its powers, not the government, not the Parliament.
A bullshit.
Yeah, that's complete
Well
crap. Yeah, absolutely. He knows what's going on. Even a 3-year-old's got more idea. The former High Court Justice Kenneth Hayne has already said that the courts can do a review decisions made by the executive, but the courts look only at whether the decision was lawfully made, not at the merits of the decision. The former Chief Justice High Court, Robert French, said in a submission to the Joint Select Committee, the referendum would the courts have to play? What role would the courts have to play working out the constitutional legal role of the voice? He said there's little or no scope for constitutional litigation arising from the voice. And the first one is the referendum amendment clearly says the Parliament will have the powers to make the laws with respect to matters relating to the Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander voice, including its compositions. Yeah. So there you go.
Voice, not the people on the voice.
No, they've all just been...
They're there just to advise.
Mow down. So it risks legal challenges, delays, and dysfunctional government. And where's that little 3-year-old when we need him?
A bullshit.
So, disputed. The Federal Solicitor General, Stephen Donoghue, in a legal advice on the voice, said it would not clog up the courts or slow down government decision-making and would not pose a threat. And no such requirements can be implied for the government to wait for voice advice. Australians should have all the details before the vote, not after. Something that you were sort of talking about.
A bullshit.
Now,
that's right.
this one is complete crap. It's a total misinformation on this one because those details do not belong in the Constitution. Constitutional expert Ann Toomey has already said in January, the constitutions are not a place where you want to freeze details. It's appropriate to leave it to Parliament as this gives greater flexibility to adjust for future needs, which is exactly what we just discussed 4 seconds ago.
Exactly.
And the government also said that it'll be up to the Parliament to design the composition, functions, powers, procedures of the voice. It has issued key design principles, partly inspired by the Indigenous Voice co-design process final report, the Karma-Langdon report, which is Tom Karma and Marsha Langdon. And they are both super heavyweights in the Indigenous space. To be honest, they're just pretty heavyweights, i.e. Intellectually very, very smart people. I think Tom Karma got he got South Australian of the Year or Indigenous of the Year, or he did. Tom Karma got an award last year. I heard him speak. He was really, really good. Anyway, we don't know how it'll work. We don't know who will be on it. We don't know. It will permanently divide us as Australians.
Ooh, this is scary. That's the vibe I'm getting.
It's just all fear and it's all crap.
Yeah.
So 5 key principle designer. It will provide independent advice to the Parliament government. It will be chosen by First Nations people based on wishes of local. It will be representative of Aboriginal Torres Strait. It will also include youth and it will be accountable and transparent. Some voice supporters say that this will just be a first step to reparations and compensation and other radical changes, and they'll be taking my Hills hoist out of my backyard. So what will come next?
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Exactly.
This is straight out of the Mabo reckoning and judgment years ago. This is exactly what they said. And it's all just complete and utter crap, as our 3-year-old friend keeps telling us. Now, I could just keep going through this for hours because there is just so much misinformation. And I'm
so
not
many
gonna do
holes
that
in this
because
one.
it's just ridiculous. But I'll just go through a couple of others because I know we've gone over time. But a member of the government's referendum working group has described truth as leverage to lead to the abolishment of the old colonial institutions. Where's that little 3-year-old?
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Nicely said. Nicely said. The Uluru Statement from the Heart is called for a sequence. First, the establishment of a voice, followed by a Makarrata Commission to explore the process of treaty making and truth telling. Voice, treaty, truth. This is exactly what it says in the Uluru Statement. These processes are a long way from being determined. But it is total rubbish. And this is speculation. The Prime Minister has already publicly ruled out compensation for Indigenous Australians moving the date of Australia Day, voice making representatives to the Reserve Bank, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And also, there's a letter in here that tries to make it look sort of official. And it says, this year the government has allocated $4.3 billion for the National Indigenous Australian Agency, which has 1,400 staff. As of the 31st of December 2021, the National Indigenous Australian Agency said approximately 23% of those staff were Indigenous. It's a government department to serve the minister, like health, foreign affairs, or education. Under the previous coalition government, 39% of all grants were being paid out to 589 non-Indigenous corporations, charities, and organisations. The current Indigenous Australians Minister, Linda Burney, says the voice would help design programs which are more efficient and don't do that.
Yeah, exactly what I was alluding to earlier.
I think, yeah, absolutely. So, right. So, okay, this is a good one. This one we need. So, right at the end, this will be my last one, but this is a really important one. If you don't know, vote no. For more information, and updates, go to, I'm not even going to read these out, because they're all racist. And
Bullshit. Bullshit.
so none of these
Yes.
sites, and I'm not reading any of them, are neutral sources of information. They are operated by the same conservative group, Advance, which is working with companies that appear to specialize in conservative Christian campaigning. Who would have thought?
Funny that.
I've just find it hilarious, Wency. It's like the cookers get involved with sort of racism campaigns, and now you've got so-called Christians doing it as well.
Yeah.
And it just gets better, including a US headquartered marketing and fundraising firm that aims to help Christian nonprofit ministries fulfill their mission. There are links between the No campaign and the failed conservative push to defeat the marriage equality postal survey in 2017. So they're trying to get those people as well. Yes, I know. It's all so surprising. But we'll have this in the show notes as well, but you can easily see that on the Guardian website.
We'll post that, of course. And I reckon let's get that little kid at every No campaign presser and just keep saying bullshit.
That would be
that might turn the tide.
If I knew when those things are on, I would actually put that in my phone and put it right up. And every time I would definitely be doing that.
That's right.
I would definitely be doing that. So what did you think about most of the pamphlet for the No people? What was that?
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah,
that's right.
Agreed. Yeah, we totally agree with him. And he will make another reappearance on the show. Mark my words, because there'll be plenty.
Better. We'll employ that little kid. We'll pay him chocolate and lollies.
Yeah, chocolate lollies.
Yes, never accepts lollies from strangers.
No, that's exactly right. I think he's got something to say to that.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yes, and thank you, Vicky. Good on you, fellas, for reality checking that absolute garbage from the No campaign. Yes,
you are most welcome. You do, absolutely, because it's disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful. And gee whiz, seriously, what can happen apart from good? There's nothing else that can happen. It can only be good. So we are always.
I was just going to say, as a result from last week having Andrew from Lifeblood on the show, tomorrow I have my first plasma donation in possibly over a decade. So
that is amazing news, and I'm just going to see if I can get a.
Don't bring that kid back. Don't bring that kid back.
No. No, the kid's not coming back. The kid's not coming back. No, that's fantastic. That's awesome news. That's awesome news. And as Wency just alluded to, Andrew from Lifeblood on last week. If you haven't heard the show yet, absolutely brilliant. It's up. You can listen to the interview. It's a really good interview. We learned a lot out of it, and all the links are in the show notes, as we always say. And go and see if you can give blood, because honestly, the gift of life is probably the best gift that you can give. So,
blood or plasma?
Awesome stuff, Wency. Yes.
And what have we got next week?
We've got a hiatus. I'm sorry to tell people.
Sorry, everyone.
I'm very sorry to say. But I am off to New Zealand next week. So when we come back the week after that, we'll probably do Across the Dutch.
Yay.
And I can give you a bit of homegrown information that's happening while I'm there. So
awesome.
we can talk about it. And maybe we'll do a bee education as well.
Okay.
But we've got to look at, as I said at the top of the show, we've got to look at Marita Flaga, and she's September sometime, but I know Maria is looking in the next 3-4 weeks, so we need to just work out how we do that. So, but that'll be awesome. That'll be great.
Awesome.
Oh, Wency, absolutely fantastic as always.
Enjoy your time in New Zealand, across the Dutch.
I shall.
And we'll see you in a fortnight.
We will indeed. Thank you for all of that listen. You can get in touch with us in all the normal places. And as Wency has already set up, our threads, so you can get us on threads as well now. If you want to contact us in any way, there is no excuse. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All
Thanks
right.
for listening.
Have
Thanks
fun,
for watching.
everyone. Have a great week.
See you, Wednesday.
Bye.
See you, bud.